Well, good morning. Today is July 15th and we're out at one of our soybean plots that's funded by the Michigan Soybean Promotion Committee. Today we're going to be talking and looking at some of our plots that are looking at marestail control or horseweed control. Horseweed's been a huge issue over the last several years, mainly because it is resistant to glyphosate and to a lot of other herbicides. So we've been looking at some different technologies and we've really been trying to integrate some different strategies. And over the last couple of years, I had a grad student, John Stromsky, who was looking at using cereal rye and winter wheat as a cover crop to help suppress horseweed early in the season, and we had some really good results from that research where we're looking at planting green and also controlling or using those cover crops early to suppress horseweed. Today we're going to look at a project that is Justine Fisher. She's a new master's student who is going to kind of take John's work a step further and then also include the use of soybean row widths. Looking at different row widths to see if that can also help suppress horseweed, because we're looking at all sorts of management strategies to try to get that weed under control.
Hi everyone, my name is Justine Fisher, and as Christy mentioned, I am a first-year graduate student in the MSU Weed Science program. In previous years, the program has looked at controlling horseweed in no-till soybean by incorporating different cover crop covers such as cereal rye and winter wheat. However, this year we wanted to take it a step further and look at the combination of a cereal rye cover as well as 3 different row widths. These 3 different row widths are 7.5, 15, and 30-inch beans. And for the 7.5-inch beans, we used a 1560 no-till John Deere planter, whereas the 15 and 30-inch rows were planted with an MaxEmerge XP heavy frame planter. We wanted to look at the addition of a cereal rye cover crop, and in doing this, we wanted to look at what it looks like when we terminate the cereal rye a week before planting and a week after planting, as well as comparing to a no cover. So today we are going to look at the different row spacings, a cover crop termination, and what the effects are on horseweed emergence in no-till soybean. So looking here, we have the 30-inch row spacing, and this is the no cover. Another thing we looked at, in addition to the row spacings as well as the incorporation of cereal rye as a cover, we wanted to look at options of post-treatments a couple weeks after planting. As you can see here, we have the 30-inch row spacing, and the population for this was 150,000 seeds per acre. In this treatment, we used an application of Roundup as a post-treatment around a couple weeks after planting. However, these are glyphosate-resistant horseweed, and so we can see that there's not going to be as good of control as what we see with our other post option we used. Here we have the 15-inch rows, and as you can see, compared to the 30-inch rows, there is less horseweed and less horseweed above the canopy. So this is something to look at with these different row spacings, is the potential to decrease horseweed emergence, but also maybe possibly decrease the height of the horseweed. And this is also the no cover, and with the same application of glyphosate at the 32 ounces per acre as a post. And then next we're going to move into the 7.5-inch drilled beans. Now here we have our narrowest row spacing, the 7.5-inch, and as you can see here again, there's definitely more canopy closure, and this is showing that horseweed is being suppressed in germination as well as the heights. In addition to looking at different row widths, we also wanted to look at incorporating a cereal rye cover. In this case, we looked at terminating the cereal rye a week before planting with glyphosate. And this option did not receive the post of the Liberty and Enlist 1, so here we are going to see horseweed emergence. However, compared to the no cover, you can see a big decrease in horseweed emergence as well as height. So this is something to look at with the incorporation of the cover and how much it can help to decrease horseweed pressure in your fields. Here we have the early burn down application in combination with the 7.5-inch drilled beans. And as we can see here, the cover is helping to decrease horseweed germination, but also by having the narrow row widths, we're also seeing a decrease in horseweed emergence.
So as Justine pointed out, we looked at the no cover with the different row widths as well as the early burn down. The other thing that we've been looking at more recently is these planting green So basically terminating after soybeans have been planted. This year with some of the rain that we had, we got planting a little bit later, so the cereal rye actually was pretty much at full flower when we terminated it, and it terminated very well with glyphosate. So one application did a really good job. What we do see is that with these planting green, we do see a lot of suppression of the horseweed, so that has worked well. The other thing that we're seeing this year, because we were really dry after planting soybeans, the soybeans are quite a bit further behind than our other either the early termination of the cereal rye or our no cover. So it'll be interesting to see how our yields turn out at the end of the season. We're continuing to look at horseweed suppression, definitely seeing quite a bit more suppression in these planting green plots versus some of the others, but the early termination worked really well this year also. So this is kind of what we have going on. In addition to this project, Justine's also looking at this in winter wheat. So we're kind of looking at what effects some of these different covers have. And then we've got a couple other studies where we're looking at incorporating or using some residual herbicides pre-emergence, as well as kind of seeing some different control strategies with post-emergence applications of different herbicides to manage glyphosate-resistant horseweed. We'll be presenting this information throughout the winter and also on our website, msuweeds.com.